Before we get started, let's review what a forehand is. A forehand in tennis is a ground stroke hit on a player's dominant side, where the racket swings across the body with the palm of the hand facing the direction of the shot. It's typically the first stroke players learn and is often their strongest and most aggressive weapon. Here are the steps to hitting a perfect forehand. Footwork. Footwork decides whether a forehand has a chance to succeed. It controls spacing, balance, and timing long before the racket gets involved. When footwork breaks down, even technically sound swings fall apart. A perfect forehand begins with the split step. That small hop before the opponent hits the ball resets the body. It keeps the legs active and the center of gravity neutral. Without it, the first movement becomes slow and reactive. With it, the player moves with intention instead of panic. From the split step, the goal is simple. Get to the hitting spot early. Early does not mean rushing forward. It means arriving with time to adjust. When players reach the ball late, they swing to survive. When they arrive early, they swing to choose. That difference shows up immediately in shot quality. Stance plays a big role here. Open and closed stances both can create a perfect forehand. Neither one is automatically better. Open stances help when dealing with pace or when hitting on the run. Closed stances can provide stability and easier weight transfer on slower balls. A strong forehand includes both, not just one. The mistake many players make is locking themselves into a single stance. They try to force an open stance even when the ball invites a step in forehand. That limits options and reduces control. Good players let the incoming ball decide the stance instead of their preference. Footwork also affects spacing more than anything else. Being too close forces cramp swings. Being too far leads to reaching. The best forehands come from players who make small, precise adjustment steps near the end. Those steps look insignificant, but they allow clean contact. Balance is the quiet result of good footwork. When the feet do their job, the upper body stays calm. The head remains steady through contact. The swing flows instead of jerking forward. Balance does not mean standing still. It means moving with control and finishing in a position that could be repeated again. Grip. Grip choice shapes how a forehand behaves. It influences spin, contact point, and net clearance. What it does not do is guarantee quality on its own. A grip supports a forehand. The most common grips in modern tennis sit between semi-Western and full Western. These grips allow players to hit higher contact points and generate heavy topspin. They also make it easier to control the ball when swinging with speed. Different grips produce different spin profiles. A more Eastern grip tends to flatten the ball out and keep the trajectory lower and travels in a straight line. A semi-Western grip adds shape and safety. A full Western grip exaggerates spin and pushes contact higher. None of these is automatically superior. Each one carries trade-offs. What matters is that the grip matches the swing path and the contact point. When those three align, the forehand feels stable. When they clash, the player starts compensating with the wrist or arm. That compensation works temporarily, but breaks down under pressure. Grip pressure also matters more than most people realize. A tight grip slows racket head speed and kills feel. A loose grip allows natural acceleration and better touch. The hand should guide the racket, not choke it. One of the signs of a perfect forehand is that the grip stays consistent across situations. The player does not panic and shifts grips mid-shot. Small adjustments may happen naturally, but the foundation stays the same. That consistency builds trust in the shot. Power from ground up. Real forehand power starts at the ground. The legs do more work than the arm ever will. Players who try to generate pace using only the upper body usually hit hard once or twice, then lose control. Players who load power through the legs can repeat the shot all day. The first step is loading. As the ball approaches, the legs bend naturally. This is not a deep squat, and it is not exaggerated. It is a simple athletic position that stores energy. That stored energy becomes available once the swing begins. From there, the hips start the motion. Hip rotation matters because it creates separation between the lower and upper body. That separation allows energy to build and then release smoothly. When hips and shoulders rotate together without separation, power disappears and timing becomes fragile. The hips open toward the target as the swing moves forward. This rotation pulls the torso into motion. The core acts as the bridge between the lower body and the upper body. A stable core transfers energy instead of leaking it. When the core collapses or over-rotates, power escapes sideways. Energy transfer should feel smooth. There should be no jerky movements. The sequence stays consistent. Legs load, hips rotate, torso follows, arm releases, racket finishes. When this order stays intact, power arrives without strain. One of the biggest mistakes players make is rushing this sequence. They fire the shoulders early, which disconnects the arm from the body. That creates a fast-looking swing with weak results. A perfect forehand waits for the lower body to lead. Balance still matters here. Power without balance creates errors. The best forehands finish in control, with the player ready for the next shot. Falling sideways or backward often means too much effort and not enough structure. This kind of power also scales well. The same motion can produce a heavy rally ball or a penetrating finish. That flexibility separates reliable forehands from streaky ones. Swing path. The swing path shapes the forehand more than almost anything else. It decides spin, net clearance, and margin for error. A good swing path balances safety and aggression. Most modern forehands use a low to high swing path. The racket drops below the ball and travels upward through contact. This path creates topspin, which helps bring the ball down into the court while clearing the net safely. The key is balance. Too steep, and the ball sits up. Too flat, and errors increase. A perfect forehand finds a path that matches the grip and the contact height. Backswings also matter here. Smaller or compact backswings hold up better under pressure. They improve timing and reduce late contact. Large backswings can generate pace, but they demand perfect spacing and timing. Compact does not mean weak. It means efficient. Many professional forehands look short because the power comes from the body, not the arm. The racket accelerates quickly without traveling far backward. This compact shape also helps on fast courts and against heavy hitters. The player has less distance to cover before contact, which improves reaction time. Swing path also affects net clearance. A good forehand clears the net by a safe margin without floating. That margin gives confidence during rallies. Players who flirt with the tape often feel forced to slow down. Spin plays a big role here. Added spin creates shape and depth. It allows players to swing freely while keeping the ball inside the lines. Spin does not replace control, but it supports it. Racket head acceleration ties everything together. The acceleration should feel natural and smooth. It builds through the swing instead of spiking at contact. Sudden acceleration usually signals arm-dominant swings. When acceleration flows properly, the ball leaves the strings with pace and rotation. The player does not feel like they worked harder. The shot simply goes where intended. So why do some forehands hold up in tight moments while others disappear? The answer often comes back to swing path stability. When the path stays consistent under pressure, the forehand stays reliable. When players change their path subconsciously, errors follow. Clean contact. Clean contact is where everything comes together. It is also where most forehands fail quietly. A player can have great footwork and a sound swing, but without clean contact, the shot loses quality. Hitting the sweet spot matters because it maximizes energy transfer. The ball leaves the strings with less vibration and more control. Off-center contact drains power and introduces unpredictability. Perfect forehands find the sweet spot far more often than average ones. Keeping the eye on the ball helps more than people admit. This does not mean staring forever or freezing the head. It means staying visually connected through contact. When players look up early, timing suffers. When they stay connected, contact sharpens. Racket face angle also plays a role. A closed racket face at contact helps control topspin forehands, especially with modern grips. Too open, and the ball floats. Too closed, and it dives into the net. Good forehands find the middle ground naturally because the swing path supports the face angle. Clean contact also depends on where the ball is struck relative to the body. Most strong forehands meet the ball slightly in front. That position allows forward extension and directional control. Late contact forces rushed finishes and defensive outcomes. Another overlooked aspect is sound. Clean contact produces a consistent, solid sound off the strings. Players often recognize good shots by feel and sound before they see the result. That feedback loop helps reinforce proper timing. When contact stays clean, confidence follows naturally. The player does not think about mechanics during rallies. The shot becomes reliable, which frees the mind to focus on patterns and placement. At this point, it should be clear that a good forehand is not built on one flashy element. It is built on layers that support each other. Footwork sets the stage. Grip shapes the shot. Clean contact delivers the result. That is where many forehands either evolve or collapse. Follow-through. The follow-through tells the truth about the swing that came before it. Perfect follow-throughs happen naturally. Forced ones usually signal tension or compensation. A clean follow-through allows the arm to extend toward the target before wrapping across the body and over the shoulder. That extension helps with depth and direction. Cutting the follow-through short often leads to balls landing short or drifting wide. The arm should stay relaxed through contact and beyond. Tension in the forearm or shoulder limits racket head speed and feel. A loose arm allows the racket to accelerate freely and decelerates safely after contact. Follow-through height can vary depending on intent. Higher finishes usually support heavier topspin. Lower finishes flatten the ball. Both belong in a complete forehand. What matters is that the finish matches the swing path and the shot choice. The wrist deserves special attention here. The wrist stays loose throughout the swing. It does not flick or snap on purpose. The movement happens naturally as a result of racket head acceleration. When players try to force wrist action, timing breaks down. A relaxed wrist also improves touch and feel. It helps with subtle changes in pace and spin. Stiff wrists limit options and increase errors under stress. Another important detail is where the follow-through ends relative to the body. Many strong forehands finish with the racket wrapping around the opposite shoulder or slightly below it. That position reflects full rotation and controlled deceleration. A perfect follow-through also keeps the player balanced. The body finishes facing the court, not twisted or falling away. This allows faster recovery and better positioning for the next ball. The follow-through does not need to look pretty. It needs to be functional. When the follow-through supports consistency and recovery, the forehand stays reliable over long rallies.